Donald Trump is facing growing political challenges as new polling, voter reactions, and increasing criticism from both opponents and former supporters suggest that frustration with his leadership may be expanding. A recent survey sparked attention after asking voters who they trust more on the economy, Donald Trump or former President Joe Biden. The results showed Biden holding a significant advantage overall, with an even larger lead among independent voters. Since the economy remains one of the most important issues for Americans, the findings immediately became a major talking point in political circles. At the same time, interviews with voters revealed widespread concerns about rising costs and financial uncertainty. Some voters expressed fears about ever being able to afford a home, while others pointed to the high cost of everyday necessities. Concerns about the job market and the overall cost of living were recurring themes. For many Americans, economic anxiety continues to shape how they view political leaders and government policies. Questions about age and leadership also remain part of the national conversation. Some voters suggested that the country may need a younger generation of political leaders, arguing that many of the current figures dominating American politics no longer represent the future of the country. While opinions vary, the discussion reflects a broader debate taking place across both major political parties. Political developments within the Republican Party have added another layer to the story. In Iowa, a candidate endorsed by Donald Trump was defeated by a Republican opponent who did not receive Trump's backing. While one election result does not necessarily indicate a larger trend, it has fueled discussion about whether Trump's endorsements continue to carry the same influence they once did. Political analysts are closely watching these contests because they can provide clues about the future direction of the Republican Party and the strength of Trump's influence within it. Meanwhile, criticism has increasingly emerged from conservative commentators and media personalities who have traditionally supported Republican causes. Some have openly questioned decisions made by Trump and Republican leaders, arguing that voters should examine whether campaign promises are actually being fulfilled. These criticisms are particularly significant because they come from voices that have historically appealed to conservative audiences. When criticism comes from within a political movement rather than from its opponents, it often attracts greater attention and can have a stronger impact on supporters. Controversy also erupted after a Republican lawmaker became the focus of backlash over a social media post regarding homosexuality and family values. The message was later deleted, and an explanation was offered, claiming that the post had been made by a member of the communications team. Nevertheless, the incident sparked widespread criticism and reignited debates over social issues and political messaging. In today's digital age, a single social media post can become a national story within hours, forcing politicians to respond quickly to public reaction. At the same time, divisions within the broader MAGA movement have become more visible. Conservative activists, influencers, and commentators have increasingly found themselves criticizing one another. Disagreements over political strategy, foreign policy, campaign messaging, and the future direction of the movement have become harder to ignore. While supporters argue that internal debates are normal in any political movement, others see these conflicts as evidence of deeper fractures that could become more significant over time. Donald Trump himself continues to generate headlines through public appearances and remarks that attract widespread media attention. During recent comments about a planned UFC-related venue near the White House, Trump joked that the structure was so appealing it might never be removed. Supporters viewed the remarks as another example of his unique political style, while critics argued that they reflected an emphasis on spectacle rather than policy. Regardless of perspective, Trump's ability to dominate news cycles remains one of the defining characteristics of his political career. Another story attracting attention involves Hunter Biden. In recent weeks, he has become more active on social media, sharing personal reflections about addiction recovery and sobriety. Marking 7 years of sobriety, Hunter Biden thanked supporters and spoke about the importance of recovery, perseverance, and community support. His messages resonated with many people who have experienced addiction either personally or through loved ones. Rather than focusing on politics, the post centered on recovery and personal growth, generating a largely positive response from many followers. One of the most notable developments discussed recently is the growth of an organization called Leaving MAGA, founded by former Trump supporter Rich Logis. The group seeks to provide support for individuals who are questioning or leaving the MAGA movement. According to Logis, interest in the organization has grown significantly as more people begin re-evaluating their political beliefs. The group has launched billboard campaigns in multiple states and created support networks designed to help people navigate the emotional and social challenges that can come with changing political views. Logis argues that leaving a political movement is often far more difficult than many people realize. For some supporters, political identity becomes deeply intertwined with friendships, social circles, and a sense of belonging. Walking away can mean risking relationships and facing criticism from people who were once close allies. As a result, organizations like Leaving MAGA focus not only on politics, but also on providing a sense of community for people going through that transition. During interviews, Logis has explained that many people who contact the organization express fears about social consequences and retaliation. Some worry about being criticized by friends, family members, or political groups. Others fear losing long-standing relationships or becoming isolated from communities they once considered an important part of their lives. According to Logis, these concerns often prevent people from publicly expressing doubts even when they privately disagree with political leaders or movement priorities. He has also shared his own journey away from MAGA. According to Logis, his decision was not the result of a single event, but rather a series of developments that gradually caused him to rethink his beliefs. He pointed to disagreements over public health policies, reactions to the 2020 election, the events of January 6th, and broader concerns about political leadership. One of the most important changes, he says, was expanding the range of news sources and information he consumed. Exposure to different perspectives encouraged him to re-evaluate assumptions he had previously accepted. His experience reflects a broader reality in modern politics. Many people consume information primarily from sources that reinforce existing beliefs, making it difficult to encounter opposing viewpoints. When individuals begin exploring different sources of information, it can sometimes lead to major shifts in political thinking. Political scientists have long noted the powerful role that media consumption plays in shaping public opinion and political identity. The larger question emerging from these developments is whether the United States is witnessing the beginning of a broader political realignment. Some observers believe growing dissatisfaction among certain conservatives could reshape future elections and alter the political landscape. Others argue that Trump's support remains strong and that reports of widespread defections are being overstated. The truth likely lies somewhere between those two perspectives. What is clear is that American politics continues to experience significant turbulence. Economic concerns remain a dominant issue. Internal divisions are becoming more visible within political movements. Independent voters continue to play a crucial role in shaping election outcomes. And organizations dedicated to helping people rethink their political affiliations are gaining attention in ways that would have seemed unlikely just a few years ago. As the next election cycle approaches, both major parties will be closely monitoring these trends. Democrats will seek to capitalize on signs of Republican division, while Republicans will work to maintain unity and rally support behind their candidates. Independent voters, meanwhile, may once again determine the outcome of key races across the country. For now, the political landscape remains deeply divided, but it is also evolving. New polling, voter concerns, internal conflicts, and changing attitudes among former supporters suggest that important shifts may be taking place beneath the surface. Whether those shifts ultimately lead to lasting political change remains to be seen. What is certain is that the debate over America's future is far from over, and the months ahead are likely to provide even more evidence about where voters and political movements are headed next.